Have you ever contemplated whether a single orchestral composition could possess the raw power to ignite a literal, violent riot within the sophisticated heart of 20th century Paris? On the evening of May 29, 1913, the global history of musical expression underwent a profound and irreversible transformation that challenged the very foundations of Western aesthetic values. We are standing precisely where the avant-garde collided with tradition, resulting in a spectacle so provocative that it required the immediate intervention of the French Metropolitan Police. This evening was not merely a concert. It was a cultural explosion that redefined the limits of human creativity and social tolerance in the modern age. As we embark on this 20-minute journey through time, I invite you to witness the birth of modern music in its most raw and controversial form. The air was thick with anticipation as the elite of Paris gathered in their finest attire, unaware that they were about to witness a riot. This documentary meticulously dissects the intricate details of Igor Stravinsky's revolutionary masterpiece, commonly known as Le Sacre du printemps. We will explore the technical innovations, the scandalous choreography, and the lasting legacy that continues to influence every major musical development in the century to follow. It is a story of artistic courage, intellectual rebellion, and the pursuit of a new truth that resides in the rhythmic heart of existence. Welcome to a deep exploration of one of the most significant events in human history. Every note, every movement, and every reaction from that fateful night has been recorded and analyzed to provide you with the most comprehensive understanding possible. We must look closely at the numbers, the dates, and the specific individuals who dared to change the world through sound and motion. This is the story of a revolution that began with a single high-pitched bassoon note and ended with a new era of artistic freedom. Join me as we step back into the chaotic, vibrant world of 1913 Paris. The opening question remains: what was it about Stravinsky's vision that could drive a sophisticated Parisian audience to physical violence? To answer this, we must look beyond the notes themselves and understand the deep societal tensions of pre-war Europe. The theater, newly opened just weeks prior, became the crucible for this aesthetic war. Every detail of the evening, from the scent of the perfume to the rustle of silk dresses, pointed toward a tradition that was about to be shattered. The year 1913 was a time of rapid industrialization and shifting political landscapes, where the old world of the 19th century was clashing with the burgeoning modernism of the 20th. Art was no longer satisfied with being a mere reflection of beauty. It sought to express the complex, often chaotic realities of the human subconscious. Stravinsky, working within the framework of the ballets russes, was the perfect catalyst for this change. His music did not just accompany the dance, it dictated a new way of seeing and hearing that was fundamentally at odds with the expectations of the time. We see the bustling streets of Paris, the grand façade of the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées, and the faces of those who would soon be shouting in anger or cheering in awe. This was the moment where the comfortable familiarities of the past were set on fire by the terrifying brilliance of the future. As we move deeper into the analysis, we will see how every element of the production was calculated to provoke a reaction, leading to a night that would never be forgotten. The intellectual climate of Paris at the time was fertile ground for such a radical intervention, with artists and thinkers across all disciplines challenging the status quo. The Rite of Spring was the culmination of these pressures, a work that demanded attention and refused to be ignored, setting the course for the next century of cultural evolution. The intellectual genesis of Le Sacre du printemps occurred in the spring of 1910, but it was not until April 1912 that Igor Stravinsky completed the majority of the sketches while residing in Switzerland. This period was characterized by a radical search for a new musical language that could express the primitive and raw energies of the human soul. The financial backing of the ballets russes was instrumental in bringing this ambitious project to fruition, despite the enormous risks involved in presenting such a challenging work. Historical evidence shows that the composer spent countless hours meticulously planning every rhythmic shift and dissonant chord to achieve a specific atmospheric effect. The collaboration between the music, the choreography, and the set design was a deliberate attempt to create a total work of art that would bypass the rational mind and speak directly to the primitive instincts. Stravinsky drew inspiration from his own visions of a pagan ritual where a young maiden would dance herself to death to ensure the return of spring. This dark and powerful theme required a musical language that was equally visceral and uncompromising. Diaghilev, ever the visionary, recognized the potential of this work to redefine the ballets russes and the entire world of dance. He assembled a team of geniuses, including the painter Nicholas Roerich and the dancer Václav Nijinsky, to bring this vision to life. As the curtain rose on May 29, 1913, the atmosphere inside the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées was already charged with a palpable sense of hostility. Within minutes of the first bassoon solo, which was played in an unusually high and distorted register, laughter and derision erupted from the wealthier box seats. This initial protest soon escalated into a full-scale auditory rebellion that drowned out the 100 musicians on stage. Contemporary accounts describe a scene of absolute chaos where individuals engaged in physical altercations and the management was forced to cycle the house lights to restore order. The choreography by Václav Nijinsky, which rejected classical balletic grace in favor of pigeon-toed primitive movements, further fueled the fire of public resentment. It is recorded that the shouting was so intense that Nijinsky had to stand on a chair in the wings, shouting numbers to the dancers to keep them in time with the unheard orchestra. The intervention of the French police was eventually required to prevent the situation from spiraling into a total disaster. This riot was a visceral reaction to the radical modernization of the human spirit on stage, highlighting the profound gap between the avant-garde and the traditional elite. The struggle we witness here is the universal conflict between the comfort of the familiar and the terrifying beauty of the new. Stravinsky's technical innovation lay in his unprecedented liberation of rhythm from the traditional constraints of the bar line and Western harmony. The score of Le Sacre du Printemps contains over 30 different time signatures, shifting with a frequency that was previously unheard of in orchestral literature. He utilized complex ostinato patterns and irregular groupings of accents to create a sense of mechanical inevitability that was both terrifying and exhilarating. The work effectively bridged the gap between the ancient folklore of the Slavic people and the industrial avant-garde of the future. This was a musical gospel of freedom, offering composers the permission to explore the dark, subconscious depths of the human experience without the need for traditional tonal resolution. The legacy of this masterpiece is evident in the fact that it is now performed by every major orchestra across the globe as a definitive test of technical mastery. Its transition from a scandalous failure to a cornerstone of the repertoire is one of the most remarkable stories in musicology. In the following decades, the work found its way into popular culture, most notably influencing the way we conceptualize prehistory and the raw power of nature. Scientific studies suggest that the rhythmic structures of the work trigger a deep physiological response in the listener, explaining its enduring power across different cultures and eras. The application of Stravinsky's vision can be seen in everything from modern film scores to contemporary dance, where the emphasis on rhythmic vitality remains a central theme. As we reach the peak of this investigation, we are confronted with the raw intensity of the final moments of the score, where the sacrifice is complete and spring finally arrives. This climax is not just musical, it is a spiritual realization of the transformative power of art and history combined. Stravinsky's journey from a scandalous premiere to global immortality represents the ultimate triumph of vision over tradition. This work stands as a pillar among the top 100 events that have shaped the world, reminding us of the immense potential within every creative act. The energy of that 1913 night still burns brightly today, inspiring us to push the boundaries of what is possible in our own lives in our own time. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated intellectual and emotional peak, leaving an indelible mark on our collective consciousness. As we conclude our exploration of this monumental event, we are left with a decision to make about our own commitment to innovation and truth. The dissonance of 1913 paved the way for the boundless creative freedom we enjoy today, but it requires our continued support and understanding. Will you be one of those who embrace the new and the challenging, or will you remain comfortably within the boundaries of the past? The choice is ours as we continue to journey through the most significant events in human history. May the spirit of Stravinsky's courage inspire your own path forward as you seek to make your own mark on the world. The historical facts we have examined today, from the specific instrumentation to the exact dates of the premiere, all point to a single conclusion: that true genius is often met with resistance before it is recognized as the foundation of a new era. We must choose to be the kind of individuals who can recognize and support such radical innovations in our own time, ensuring that the spirit of creativity continues to flourish for centuries to come. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the rite of spring. It has been a privilege to share this story with you. As I leave you here at the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées, I hope you carry the rhythm of this masterpiece in your heart and the courage of its creator in your mind. Until our next journey into history, stay curious and stay bold. I wish you abundant blessings and peace in all your endeavors as you move forward. 구독과 좋아요를 눌러주세요. 감사합니다.